Can you hear me? Please indicate if you can hear
Yes, we
me.
can.
Excellent.
I can hear you.
Okay, so I believe they're all hearing. So once again, thank you very much for making our time this evening to participate in tonight's session. Over the last 2 months, I'm sure you've been part of the previous sessions we've had that we focused a bit more on the macroeconomy, on oil prices and COVID. And we just felt, people have heard enough. I need a break from all of those issues. And this is the new normal. We need to begin to look forward. And very well connected to that is the fact that the landscape globally has changed. And taking a cue from that, we thought as career professionals, as people who work in finance, it was pertinent for us to put together a session like this. And again, it was born out of some of the surveys we've done, where people were beginning to ask that, okay, how do they begin to step up in their various organizations? That is what gave birth to tonight's session. And there is no better person that could have done a justifiable analysis and give us a sense of direction than the guest speaker we have tonight, who is a man of many parts. Have been privileged to know him for a few years, for almost half a decade now, and it's been years of value add. So I'm really excited about tonight, and I hope you are too. I'm sure you must have heard a lot about our guest speaker tonight on various platforms. I want to tell you that more than you have heard, there's a lot more. And I believe you're going to be experiencing some of that tonight. And before I call him on, I just want to highlight some of his career uh, footprints so that you have an idea of what his background is and why he's the most suitable person for us to have a privilege to have tonight to speak to us. So tonight we're having Yemi Faseun. In our circles, we refer to him as Millennial YF. He considers himself a millennial, and it's interesting that tonight he's speaking to a lot of millennials. Okay, um, he has deep HR experience in consulting, in banking, and in telecoms. He's worked in Tequila, Nigeria. He's worked in Arthur Anderson. I don't know how many of you have heard about Arthur Anderson. Those were the companies that was the company that gave birth to KPMG that we have today. That's KPMG Nigeria. He's worked in Standard Chartered Bank, People Temp, Stanbic IBTC Bank, Etisalat, FBN Quest Merchant Bank, and most recently is heading the people operations and people, everything that has to do with people at Globalcom. So you'll find out that he's a man of technology. He has worked with various telecom companies, and he's a man with very deep roots in financial services, which is the essence of what's brought all of us here together. So he is going to be speaking to us tonight, not necessarily theoretical. This is a man that has been through the ranks, and I can speak to you, having known him for a few years and from all my personal and professional interactions with him. So please keep your mind open. Drop as much questions as you have on the chat. We will try as much as possible to address each of them. But most importantly, I would like you to take away one or two things that will be a life-changing points that you will take away tonight, that you're going to take action. And in the next 6 months, hopefully you will be able to share one or two of your own experience because of the action you took and the results you've gotten. So we're going to be benefiting from his immense work experience tonight, and both as a senior in the industry and also someone who has been through various companies within the finance space and the telecom, which is going to be sharing practical nuggets with us tonight that will be useful for us, and then we can use our stepping blocks for us to move to our next level. And just to also flip the coin to our guest speaker tonight, the Finance Professional Network is a community of professionals who work in finance, who are enthusiastic about finance, and we cut across all the sectors you can think about and all the financial institutions in Nigeria and abroad. We have a few of our people who work for Goldman Sachs, Bank of America, just to name a few. We have people joining from Ghana, joining from Canada, UAE, and different parts of the world. So we are eventually evolving into a community of people who are passionate about finance and the influence it has on the global economy. So without further ado, I would like to pass the reins to our guest speaker tonight, Mr. Yemi Faseun. I'd like you to, I don't know, whichever way you can signify and welcome in here on the chat. I'm sure you'll be reading. So Mr. Yemi Faseun, good to have you. And over to you now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, AB. Thank you, everyone. Nice to be here. It's my pleasure. And I really am humbled that you decided to have this conversation with me, because I know there are so many of my colleagues around who are better positioned to have this conversation with you. So really humbled. If I can just do something quickly before I continue. Can 3, 4, 5 people just tell me minutes what session I'll be reading? What are your expectations from this session, so that I don't talk amiss, so that I can address some of the things that you are looking at from an objective perspective. So what are you looking at in the next 45 minutes? What are you looking to gain? What insights are you looking to glean from the conversations? So I'll be reading. Just type it out on the chat box. What are you looking at? Your expectations. What do you want to gain from talking to YF this evening? I'm popularly called YF, by the way. I think it's a lot economical rather than all the way Yemi Faseun. YF will do. Yeah, so I'm waiting. What are your expectations? What do you want to gain from this session? Strategies for an effective career switch. Okay, awesome. I see that. Strategies for an effective career switch. Okay, good. That's good. We can have conversations around that easily. Yeah, that's one. Any other person? Just type out. Richard Abayomi, nice to be here as well. Strategies for an effective career switch. If you want to move from finance to HR, what do you do? What skills are really relevant in times like this? Managing multiple stakeholders at work. Interesting. Get them out and coming through about 3 to 5. I want to make sure that maybe we'll have some sort of insights into how career evolves over time. So I read English. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so I read English from Ife. If you are great Ife, hey, great Ife, how you doing and all that. I read English at Ife, and then I did not start my career in human resources. After I left Ife to study English, I had a focus to do an MBA since I was in my year 2 in Ife. I totally just said to myself, Yemi, English is an MBA. And see, one of the things that I'm going to be talking about actually is focus. Once you open yourself to focus about anything you want to do, life has an uncanny ability to bring your way the things you are focused on. So because I was so focused on doing my MBA right after school, life moved me from Ife to a university environment to do my youth service. And it was therefore so easy for me to fulfill my ambition to do an MBA. It was a smooth transition, but it started from being focused. So what I'm dropping at your table, first and foremost, is that you do not look at career as that ultimate thing. Look at the things that you need to do first to achieve the bigger picture. So there are little things, small things that I will be touching on, which are the things you need to focus on so that you can achieve ultimately your career goal, your career switch, your career objectives, or where you want to be in another 5 or 10 years. So focus is quite important. Sincerely, I focused on that MBA, and as life would have it, your thoughts, the thoughts in your mind, the things you focus on, your words, they are messages you send to the universe. And the universe has a way of sending them back to you from an action perspective. So I found myself within the university environment. I did an MBA, came into Lagos, and the first job that I got was to do sales. Now, because I made good results, I was invited to write all the tests of this world. Zenith, GTB, Arthur Anderson, Intercontinental back in those days, UT Bank, all the banks, and some other organizations. But sincerely, I was successful at most of the tests, but I wasn't successful at the interviews. But I started from a very, very unknown organization called TMJ Systems and Lines Limited to do the job of a salesman, which was to sell computers. After 1 year, I moved on to Tequila, which was a direct marketing agency, still is a direct marketing agency. And then after that, I moved into some sort of human resources. But what I want to say is this: to answer the first question or the first expectation, to address that is what you are doing right now, make sure that you are doing it very well. Do not think that because you are not doing what you are doing very well, what you are doing now, the best way to address that situation is to dump it and go do something else. No. Every little experience adds up to ultimately what you want to become. My sales experience added up to my direct marketing experience, and my direct marketing experience has added a whole lot to my human resources experience. So please, if you want to do a career switch, do not think that what you want to do is run away from what's not working. Make it work first. Be excellent in what you do. It is only then that people who are looking at you from afar can recommend you for other jobs. Do not think that you want to run away from not doing a good job and you want to go into a great career. It doesn't add up. Process. Every little thing adds up. Okay? So how do you switch? Switch from the point of view of focus. Switch from the point of view of value, from the point of view of skills. I see somebody asking me what skills are relevant for today. Do not get too carried away about the COVID crisis and think that the skills that you need are just the skills for today. You need skills that will last you beyond COVID. What I'll suggest you do is to go check the World Economic Forum of the publication of 2015-2016, where they were talking about the top 20, top 10 skills of the future. You see, this future that has happened to us in terms of COVID, right? Some of us have been talking about the future of work. We did not know, sincerely, that the future was going to take the dimension of COVID-19 or a pandemic. But we knew that the future was going to happen. We were already getting ready for the future. But some people did not want to play in the moment. So take a step back. If you have not seen that publication, go and see the skills that are relevant in the future. There's so many jobs that are going to fall away in the next couple of months, in the next couple of years. That the job that you love now and spend time to do is not something that will not be there tomorrow. Go and look at the top 20, top 10 skills. Just as an analogy, I mean, I don't know who in the audience today has been, even before COVID, went to a bank to cash a check. We moved from tellers to machines, and ultimately we moved on to online platforms. If anybody was doing tailoring for the future and doing online programs, online courses because you want to be a great teller, where will be the position of that individual today? So you need to put yourself, relevant skills is about what the market is asking for. Constantly, this is what I did as my career progressed. Even when I did not have a need to change my job, anytime opportunities came for me to do interviews, I always obliged because it was an opportunity for me to benchmark my skills with what the market is asking for. Even if you're not doing interviews, right? If all you're doing is to constantly do a gap analysis between self and market, then you will be in a position to say, what action plans do I need to take so that I can bridge the gap? So the second thing after focus that I'm going to leave you with so that you can move from the point where you are now to where you want to be is to mind the gap. What gaps exist between where you are today and where you want to be? And this is going to be a kind of analysis that you've got to do credibly by yourself. And if you find great guys or mentors you can talk to or friends, by all means, but you've got to do that gap analysis. For me, I realized a very long time ago that communication was going to be a great asset for me. I'm not sure if you could call it luck, but I've also read that the harder I worked, the luckier I became. If communication, for instance, is where you've got a gap, and sincerely, I see this on a daily basis because of my interaction with people. There are communication gaps with young folks, and unfortunately, the social media balance has crept into the official world, and we have mixed everything together. But people are still looking for individuals who will communicate effectively. So I'm taking that as an example. If your gaps are in the area of communication, what are you going to do between now and the next 2 years or 3 years so that you can close those gaps? If you're in the financial sector, let me give you an example of what I did at Standard Chartered Bank. I got into Standard Chartered in about October 2002. Yeah, October 2002, I got into Standard Chartered, and after 6 months, I was going to go on vacation. And I said to myself, out of my 10 days of vacation, I decided on my own to spend 5 days to be a teller. 5 days of my vacation because I just wanted to know how banks were making money. I wanted to understand as an HR person, the processes of customers walking through the door, taking money from them or giving them money, and how we made money. So I sat in the cubicle as a teller for 5 days of my own annual vacation because I wanted to learn and improve my skills, having found myself in a banking environment. Now, you don't even need to wait to get into a banking environment to pick up skills for banking if you want to work in a bank. If you want to work in telco today, when you come to speak with me about any role in telecom, let me have for the opportunities that will come. You know the saying about time and chance? Time preparedness. You got to prepare for the future that you're about to enter into. And let me say this again. Please spend time in the future. Guys, we have a lot of distractions in today's world. I am totally aware. We can't run away from it. The distraction of social media, the distraction of friends, the distraction of Netflix, and all of that. But please, let me say to you, no matter how much time you spend in the distraction of the moment, find time to spend the future. Because the future is not going to happen to you suddenly. The future will give you enough notice. And only those who get ready in advance for the future are the individuals who would take the future. And I'm saying also spend some very well. Do not run away into another career. It is only when you say to people during interview that you do an achievement on the opportunities. I will still see opportunities that came my way in HR. I guess I was able to convince from also a good communication perspective. I was able to convince my audience that I could do the job at Randerson there. I have friends in HR, and they can help you do a gap analysis between what you want to do, where you want to go, what you want to become, and where you are right now, the better. And you can now walk through a process so that you can mind those gaps. Because the gaps always exist. I mean, I've got gaps between where I want to be in the future and where I am today. And the only way to reduce the distance between the present and the future is through a process of minding the gap, of adjusting your total composition to the point where the future is so important. So please, the skills that I will advocate, they're not skills only for the moment. They're not skills for crisis moment. They are skills for sustainable career success. The pandemic will come, or it has come. I promise you it will go. It might be another crisis that will come in the future. But because you are well grounded from a skills perspective, then you are able to ride the waves. Most of the guys who are riding the waves now are guys who were ready before now. I promise you, individuals are still getting jobs. Yes, you can tell me, Yemi, it's difficult to get jobs right now. The market is unstable. Salaries are being reduced. Jobs are going. But I can also promise you that people are still getting sorted out from a career perspective, even at this period. Do not wait until an opportunity for a career comes up before you start running around to say, oh, what do I need to do? Get ready. Just get interviews are happening. People are looking for people. Where you are, this will be number one. We need to know that you can do the job. That's IQ. You must possess the requisite skills for a particular role or job in an organization. But as you progress along your career, and I saw somebody asking me questions around how to manage multiple stakeholders. As you progress around your career, please add emotional intelligence to your supervisory position, team lead position, what you know that will take you further. It is what you know and how well you can work with other people to achieve results. That's the space of emotional intelligence. Know yourself, know other people, work together in synergy, achieve results for the organization, and then you will stand out. But if you continually stay in the place of IQ, I can do, meanwhile, we are looking at you working with other people to achieve results, then you will say, oh, they don't like my face. But when you are not in the room, the things we are saying about you is that you do not have leadership capabilities. We're saying that, oh, you are large focused, but because you are still operational, that's because you're not developing yourself. And that brings me to the point of value. You've got to constantly add value to yourself. It must be on the rise. You must do it as conscious as possible. You need to do it. And value is what the marketplace pays for. Value is not in qualifications. It is not in certifications. It is in what you do with what you know. That's value. The constant advisory that you give in your function to the business that allows the business to solve immediate problems, link directly to your advice is value, and that's what they pay for. Doing certifications, it is not the certification that is important. I smile a lot as an HR person when, and it is, I mean, this still happened to me during this week. Today is a Saturday, yeah, during this week, somebody brought something for me to sign off because the guy in charge of database in HR was going to update somebody's qualification. And I just smile. That the qualification itself is not the most important. It is, if you're not leading people yet, be the best data analyst, be the best developer, be the best human resources professional, be the best finance analyst, be the best operations or procurement analyst. Let the team know that you are needed. On your job. It is only when you are the best at what you do that we can consider you outside the organization or for other roles within the organization. So I see a lot of people saying, oh, Yemi, yeah, when they come for interviews, people already know who they want, and therefore this is just a waste of time. I actually do not agree, guys. I actually do not agree. I promise you that the first two jobs were jobs that I applied for on the pages of newspapers, and subsequently since 1999 up to date, and I've done 9 jobs now between 1999 and now, I have always been referred for jobs. If I had the mindset of, oh, they already know who they want to give the jobs to, or they're just going through a process for its sake, I'm not sure that I'll prepare myself enough to get ready to take advantage of those opportunities that have come my way. So get ready from a value perspective. If you are not, I say this a lot, so I'll say it again. If you are not in love with self-development, you are cheating on yourself. I'll say that again. If you are not in love with self-development, you are cheating on yourself. Do not wait for the organization to send you on training. Do not wait at the end of the year to say, oh, they've not sent me on any training. This organization doesn't train anybody. Train yourself. Develop yourself. What you're doing is not for the sake of the organization, it's for the sake of your own development. So take it with all seriousness. And remember, like I said, once you've done that gap analysis and you can list 1, 2, 3, 4 things where you need to develop, you now need to go through a conscious process of bridging those gaps. If you come to an interview with me and you say, I love challenges, I will stop a while and ask myself, if you want to work in my team, and I'm going to tell you to represent me at meetings with the with divisional heads, with board of directors, with maybe my chairman, for instance, am I going to send somebody who's going to say, I love challenges? Maybe not. Am I going to send somebody who will say, those who knows me knows that people cannot understand the subject noun agreement. And these are real situations. I'm bringing them up because they are real situations. Am I going to recruit somebody, excuse me, or hire somebody who will spell privilege with a D? There are little things. And I'm just taking communication as an example. Your skills gap could be anything. Am I going to employ somebody who's going to write accommodation with double C single M or single C double M rather than double C double M? Those are the little things. Tidy your communication, improve your skills, make value a conscious effort, and also, guys, get ready for the opportunities before they come. Now, let me tell you the danger of not getting ready for opportunities when they come. Let me rule out some statistics that may shock you. Well, maybe you shouldn't be shocked, but then I was surprised. In 2008 at FBN Quest, 2018, about 14,000. And out of the 14,000 successful ones, there were others that were not successful. 14,000 became successful. And we shortlisted down to 1,000, from 14,000 to 1,000. Eventually, the 1,000 people did a computer-based test, and then we had about 75 come through the interview process. Let anybody try and guess how many. We started with 14,000. Guess how many people we're looking for. Let somebody guess in the chat box. Just try and guess. 15? Okay. Bola says 15. Babajide says 10. 10, 2. Not that bad. 10, 10. So 10 is winning. I see a lot of 10. 1, 3, 5, 5, and all that. Okay, guys, we were looking for just about 25 people. And we started from 14,000 successful applications. What I'm saying is, of other individuals out there are getting ready. They are ready for the same opportunity that you are looking for. Think about it. So what is going to stand you out from the crowd to the point where you will go through a process and you will be the successful candidate? Whatever you need to do to get yourself ready for the future that you want to be, the time to start acting on it is now. So action. We've talked about value. We've talked about focus. Now action. Do not delay. The world is in a hurry, whether we like it or not. The world is in a hurry. We don't have time anymore to say, oh, okay, let's give you a chance. Let's see what. No. You are not ready. 25 other people are ready. Why should we give somebody who's not ready a chance? That's the reality of today, of where we are today. Now, one of the good news that I want to drop with you guys is to say that as jobs are falling away because of what we can do with technology, new skills are being required in the workplaces. And I'll give you that assignment to say, go and research the new skills that are required in all their development. No, I'm not talking about job functions. I'm talking about skills. Even behind the technology, we still have individuals who will manage the processes. Even if we are going to have 100% of robots in an organization, we still have people who will write the program for the robots to work, right? So what I'm saying is this, we are in an environment where the opportunities look few. From a demand perspective, there are so many people who are looking for very few jobs. We can't run away from that fact. And when we interview people, we are looking for the individuals who are ready. Individuals who have spent time yesterday getting ready for the opportunities tomorrow and saying to us today, we are ready. I said this to a couple of guys maybe about 2 or 3 weeks ago. And I said, when you go for an interview, quickly make yourself the standard against which other candidates are going to be compared. And that's what we do during interviews. I'm leaving you with some interview tricks. As soon as you walk out of the door after every interview, the panelists will say, okay, that's our candidate. What do you think about him? The first candidate that impresses the panelists becomes the candidate, the standard against which all other candidates are measured. So what I'm saying is be that standard, be that candidate, get ready, add value to yourself. The role that you want to do in the future, the organization you want to work in, but please start from the place of focus. Avoid distractions. Spend time in the future. The future is not going to happen suddenly. Borrow me money. My wife suddenly born. A woman cannot suddenly born. It's not possible because it will give at least 9 months notice. And I always use that analogy to describe the future. The future gives us enough notice. Let us use the getting ready before those opportunities come. I mean, I am constantly in conversations, career conversations with so many young people, and I promise you, there are individuals, young individuals who are doing phenomenal, great things beyond work. People are entrepreneurs. I have somebody in my network right now who is giving investment banks, big investment institutions, a run for their money. Somebody who spent time in the future, knows exactly where she wants to be, and has spent time to close the gaps so that she can achieve those things that she has planned to achieve. Now, change will always happen. Change that is happening to all of us right now is a great leveler. COVID has leveled all of us. We are all in the same space. But please do not think that when change happens, that the world is against you. Change will always happen. And there are 3 sets of people within a change perspective. Those who make things happen, those who watch things happen, and the wonderful people. The wonderful people will just wonder at what has happened. Don't be a victim of change. Be a change agent. Anticipate what could happen. And anticipating what could happen, I will also leave you with another assignment, which is to read the book, Who Moved My Cheese? If you have not read that book, I'll leave it with you. You can finish that book in an hour or 1 hour, 30 minutes of focused reading. Who Moved My Cheese is a book about change and how we need to anticipate change. In some organizations, right? I know individuals who moan and groan for 29 days, and then they enjoy the salary for 1 day, 30th day, and then they continue the cycle. Change is happening to your job. Change is happening to your department. Change is happening to your role. Change is happening to the skills that you have brought into the organization 5 years ago, but you are still stuck in the rut of the present. You are not anticipating change. You are not changing to fix yourself within the space of changing realities. What's going to happen will be that one day you are going to get to the cheese station and your cheese will no longer be there. But if you were careful to anticipate change, you'll have noticed the changes happening to your cheese. And before the cheese disappears, you'll have moved to another cheese station, or you'll have baked another cheese without necessarily moving on. So do not stay in the space of comfort. I'm sure you've heard the saying that the man's greatest enemy is that thing called average. And the place once you are getting too comfortable, have a conversation with yourself. Once you are, I'm saying it again, once you are getting too comfortable, and I'm not saying move to another organization, no. What I'm saying is when you are getting too comfortable and things seem to be on autopilot, that is the time to actually have a conversation with yourself and say, hey, what's the next thing? What's really going to happen? If I lose this job, if I lose this role, if I move on and all that, anticipate change. And I do advocate that you need to have personal conferences with yourselves. Wake up in the middle of the night and say, hey, what next? Guys, the future is not going to happen to anyone suddenly, unprepared, unplanned. With the benefit of hindsight, virtually all the organizations I had worked, all the 11 organizations, at some point, at one point or another, I actually anticipated myself working in those organizations. And I'm being very honest with you. I do not take the grace of God upon me for granted. I am not shy to say it openly, but also there's a place for us anticipating and getting ready. View the organogram of the entire organization, I realized that instead of a triangle or a pyramid, we are moving towards a square. And organizations cannot survive without a well-constructed pyramid. There's going to be Indians and there's going to be chiefs. But when the number of Indians and chiefs are the same, that is not sustainable. And I started anticipating trouble for that organization. Because when people are in just direct relationship, one person reports to one person up to the director level, then something is happening in that organization. And I started saying to myself, Yemi, hey, do not sit comfortably within this organization. And after I left, honestly, the organization actually ran into troubled waters. So what I'm saying is this: father salary is regular doesn't mean that the cheese might not move. But what's the most important is that please always situate your skills within a future perspective and not a present perspective. I'll say that again. Always situate your skills within a future perspective rather than a present perspective. Because you will wake up one day and the skills that were relevant yesterday are no longer relevant in the place of work. So please be future focused from a skills perspective. How do you change a box of tricks or a basket of answers? If you're very well, if you are complaining every time about what you are doing to anybody who wants to listen to you, such people like to recommend you for a job. Please, you are in a hurry. You first lie. But I also see a lot of young people today, they don't want to be like trees. Trees first go deep before they spread wide. I see many people, because of the advent of social media, we want to announce our arrival quickly to the outside world. But no, deepen your skills, deepen your capabilities. Be known as somebody in your field at whatever level. Let people look for you. But do not be an expert after 3 years of work experience. Announce yourself as a financial expert or a futuristic solutionist and all that. No. Sit in quiet places to add value to yourself. Sit in quiet places to go deep from a career perspective, from a function perspective, so that you can be known as an expert in that particular field. So process, going deep, value, focus, anticipating change, taking risks. I have taken risks with my career. So I'll give you one or two examples. I left a company called Arthur Andersen. Arthur Andersen was in, I think, about 78 countries with thousands of employees. And I went to work with a company called Vic Lawrence and Associates. I'm sure a couple of us might know Vic Lawrence, VLA. That is Mo Abudu's company. I was stupid, but you know what? It was because I was focused on a particular thing. I wanted to develop myself as a training consultant, and VLA was concentrating in that space. So I took a major risk, and I went to work with Vic Lawrence. And it was as if to some of my friends I was stupid. Arthur Andersen was a comfort absolutely no regret. I learned from it and then I moved on. So be willing to take risks with your career rather than sitting in your comfort zone. And please, last thing, before I start to wind down, last thing, guys, you need to know that you are a brand. Package yourself very well. And please, I'm not talking about the packaging that we do on social media. I love a guy that I met on social media. His name is, I think it's Sheon Kuponi or something. The guy says, expert at nothing, only seeking to be broad. I immediately connected with that guy, immediately. Because this is the age where everybody's an expert at something. This guy says, I'm an expert at nothing. I'm only seeking to be broad. So the kind of packaging I'm talking about, branding of self, is not the branding that we go onto social media and announce ourselves. No, the branding I'm saying is when people come across you, then we enough value to want to come back to you. Let every interaction be an interaction of value so that people want to come back to you. Have no reason now. If we're talking about individuals in certain fields, because these guys have grown through a self-development analysis almost on a daily basis. Before you sleep at night, last question to ask yourself. What value have I added to myself today? So, to recap quickly, I talked about focus, I talked about process. Guess what, guys? Let me give you, I will mention XYZ is happening in my organization. Okay, interesting. HR consultant. Let's have a conversation. So I said, how many years experience do you have in HR? I finished your service in 2018. Okay, this is 2020. 2 years experience, and this individual wants to go into HR consulting. So I took time to have a conversation with the individual. The question most people ask me is, Yemi, when do you know it's time to leave an organization? It's time to leave an organization when it's time to leave an organization. Honestly, that's the best way to answer this question. But do not leave an organization when you have not left. Leaving Stanbic, we had a relationship. But I left Stanbic in 2010. And then in 2016, it was Ayodele who called me for the job at ABN Quest. Relationship. Value. It was him who called me about it in Athronacy, it's called Executive Selection and Training. It was somebody who was now in, and I think I made a post on LinkedIn recently about Bolanle Asuma. That's her name. She just called me one day and said, okay, we're looking for somebody. That is because a relationship, one, existed, and two, also because if they are thinking jobs very well, call within my broad network. If I'm looking for a solid CFO today, to talk to your space, I know 2 or 3 people who I can call. So like I'm saying, or like I've been saying, that's what you need to do over a period of time. Build your capabilities, your technical skills, and also your relationship management skills to the point where you become a reference point. You are not only looking for jobs, but jobs are looking for you. Because people will remember that you did a job very refer you. Your line manager should be able to refer you. Your previous colleagues should be able to refer you for a job. That is if you do the job you are doing very well. And the last thing I'll say to you is this: your words are product of your thoughts. So mind the things you think about, mind the things you talk about, because your words are like messages that you send to the universe. And by the time those words are coming back to you, they are coming back to you to shape and reflect your reality. I wish you all the best. Thank you very much. I'll take your questions now.
Okay, thank you so much. Please, you can type thank you on the chat so that Yemi can see how much we have learned in the last few minutes. And then, thank you. I'm going to go to the questions that some of the participants asked earlier.
Right.
As one who have grown through the ranks and have been highly mobile through your career trajectory, can you give us practical examples on how you have handled workplace politics?
Okay, so the area of the workplace politics is one area I was talking that political naivety actually cost me my job at some point in time. I joined this organization and I didn't understand that, hey, Yemi, you need to learn that where you were coming from and what was happening in that organization, that there was a change in the confluence of power, politics, and influence. At times, it is not the MD that is the most important person in an organization. The cluster of power and influence can actually be around a few individuals. But I didn't learn that. By the time I understand, but I'll tell you that if you're not politically aware of what's going on in your organization, you are likely to be a victim. And what political awareness or organizational awareness will allow you to do is to position yourself, position your ideas, position your initiatives and conversations properly. For example, at times, I want to go to an exco meeting, but I realized that there was always one individual who will not agree to my presentation, will always find fault in anything I present. I learned quickly, because I had failed before, I quickly learned in that organization that is a power block in that organization. And what I did subsequently was, before the exco meetings, before my presentation, I will go share my ideas with this individual. We call it socializing. You go and socialize your ideas with the individual, make him feel part of the conversations before we go to exco. He will share ideas of what to take out, what not to take out before you present. By the time you are presenting, the guy is just nodding because you are presenting our idea, if you know what I mean. So what I'm saying is that that's just an example. Understand how the fabrics of relationship, communication, politics, influence work in all organizations. And that allows you to situate yourself within that context. It's a skill that you must learn, especially once you start climbing the career ladder. It might not impact you so much when you're just starting your career. In your first 5 years, it might not really impact you, except you are in a small organization. Then it might. But typically, it starts to affect you when you are leading people, when you are now sitting with other team leads. But emotional intelligence and your political intelligence will allow you to do a lot better. Again, guys, I'll say, don't play politics, but be politically aware.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very much for that answer, YF. The next question I'd like to ask is, how do you accomplish personal development and career growth simultaneously? That's one of the questions a participant is asking.
Okay, so I get the perspective of this question, and I'm sure it's because the individual is saying personal development, I go to school to go do another degree, another. Okay, now let me say this, for instance. I, I got into HR about 1999. No, yeah, about 1999. Until 2018, July, I had no professional qualification. Absolutely none. All the SPHRIs of this world of GB, I do not have any as I speak. The only thing I did was to join CIPM in July of 2018 after about 21 years in HR. But guess what? We learned on the job. We deepened our experiences by reading for knowledge and then applying the knowledge on the job. Today,
Please, okay. Kindly unmute Yemi. I think his mic is muted.
okay, yes, we
We
are
can
back
hear
now.
you.
Okay, thank you. So I was saying that certifications in themselves are not bad, but pay you extra because you're certified. I would say to you that because you're certified, it says to me that yes, you've gained knowledge and some level of competence in the field or profession. But you've got to come and show me that you can add value to the business because you are certified. So self-development is number one, is key, but self-development does not also mean that you should go to do a master's degree. Not every time. Self-development does not mean you should do a certification. Self-development just means grab a book in the human resources profession and understand it thoroughly. What we are doing right now but do not stop at just listening and then that's it. What are you going to apply come Monday morning? No, there's probably holiday on Monday and Tuesday. Come Wednesday morning, how much of what you are learning today are you going to be able to apply on the job? How much of learning that you have garnered over the years are you putting in the job? Are you getting so involved in office politics to the point where you are now laid back and you don't want to get involved? I just do my 8 to 5 and I'll just get out. It's not my father's business. How much of discretionary effort do you put into your job on a daily basis? And this is what I mean by discretionary effort. When your team lead, the manager says, help me do this. You say, no, it's not in my job description. You're not in the place of discretionary effort yet. You need to learn the art of developing yourself outside of work and bringing that knowledge and skills back to the workplace. That is the only time people will see that, yes, you are learning and developing. But if by all means you have an opportunity to do a master's degree, hey, life is about give and take. I know some organizations, they will encourage you to do it. I know other organizations, you cannot. But given what has happened to us now, life is online. You can work and do your studies online. Life is now online. one doesn't have to stop for the other, but self-development, you must.
Okay, thank you, YF. Okay, yes, to the next question. One of the participants is asking that, naturally, you may work in a department that you're trying to leave, but your boss does not want you to leave. So how do you strike a balance between not hurting your boss, not trying to, burn a bridge, but at the same time, you have to make progress in your own career?
Loyalty, my loyalty is first and foremost to myself. I'm sorry. That's the reality. Real life example, John Athwanasi, 1999. Rolly Pogosi, the woman who paid life forward for me to join the profession, HR, she spent some time looking for somebody to be like a number 2 to her in our department. So eventually I joined her, and 6 months down the line, the country managing partner approached me, called me to his office, and said, Yemi, there's an opportunity at executive selection and training. Meanwhile, Rolly was grooming me to be the head of that department so that she could go on to do other things. So she calls me and says, Yemi, there's an opportunity for us to grow the business, executive selection and training. Would I be interested? So I look at the opportunity with Rolly, somebody who wanted me to be like a 2 IC, second in command, and the opportunity of a bigger picture for my career. I said yes. There are no emotions about your career decisions. Sincerely. Question I'm going to ask you is this. What happens if your boss moves to another organization tomorrow? Your career, the person that is primarily responsible for your career is you. However, if that move must happen, engage. No rudeness, no impoliteness about it, engage, and just have a conversation. And for such individuals, please tell, it was good of them to have found you to come and work with the organization. They will find better people. Or it is first and foremost to yourself.
Okay, thank you so much for that answer. Yes, somebody is asking, where do we find the jobs? Probably it's been, it's not so clear. Typically people will see all kind of adverts, sending tens, hundreds, thousands of applications every time. Hopefully one will hit the jackpot. So where do you find the jobs, and how do you get a bit more strategic such that it improves your chances of getting a call?
Okay, so again, personal experience, did my first degree, did an MBA, and then between 1995, May, June, and 1996, February, believe me, I was on the streets of Lagos looking for a job. You guys are lucky now. You can drop your CV online, right? You can apply on application portals and all that. Then we had to walk from office to office, dropping our CVs at reception of the organizations. And I had to do that for about 8 months, 7 to 8 months before I got a job. And like I said to you at the beginning, I was doing all the tests. Because I made it 2-1, the organizations were calling me for the test. I'll do the test and I'll pass the test, but the interviews, no way. I remember that Zenith in those years, this must have been 1996. I did a test, passed the test, spoke with 4 GMs. They didn't have executive directors in those years. Spoke with 4 GMs, and the only thing that was going to happen was for me to speak with Jim Ovia as the MD to get the job. Maybe they'll call me to meet Jim Ovia. In your mind, you've got to determine that the battlefield that is your mind is not going to be littered with thoughts of negativity. And this happens a lot. Sincerely, If you read a bit about neuro-linguistic programming, you'll be amazed. As an example, how many of us wanted to iron our clothes at some point and there was no power supply, and you just thought, I just wish there would be power supply now, and it will happen. Or you are looking for something and you're looking for it all over the place, and then you just take a second to say, chill, let me just look at one final place, and then you found it. There's a place for the battle in the mind. You've got to win that battle by staying positive. Sincerely, number one, don't give up, keep trying, do not stop trying. But number two, do not also affect negative thoughts to kill the possibilities that can happen to you. I am a forever, and there's a public holiday and the place is filled up. I am driving in with the mind that one parking space is waiting for me. Or as I drive in, somebody's going to be driving out from somewhere and I'll park in. I promise you guys, 8, 9 out of 10 times. Positive to continue to avoid negative thoughts and emotions. So where are the jobs? When he was introducing me, the job that I got in 2016, and I'm not being proud, I'm just using this as an example. The job that I got in 2016 was a year of recession. The job that I got recently was during a pandemic. Again, I am just an incurable optimist. So stay in a place that wake up on a daily basis and say something's going to happen, and support it with action, support it with self-development, support it with dropping your CV. Just keep going, don't stop, but don't lose that battle in your mind with negative thoughts.
Thank you very much, Y, for that response. Now, the next question is about how long one stays on a job. Some people feel if you leave after 6 months, people will be wondering whether you can stay in a place for too long. Or some people stay 3 years, they feel they hold the organization to prove themselves. So, especially in this day and age where, thankful for technology, you can have access to information, you can easily apply for jobs. Most times, if you have a certain level of competency, you may likely get a call. Now, what should form how long I stay with an employer?
There is no golden rule for me. So if I look at my career, I've done 1 year in sales, 3 years direct marketing. I did 3 years at Renessine. I did 10 months at Vic Lawrence because an opportunity came knocking from Standard Chartered. And I wasn't going to say because I had done 10 months at Vic Lawrence, I wasn't going to consider it. And I'd done 6 years before. I did 4.5 years at Standard Chartered, 6 years at Nine Mobile, Etisalat. I did 3.5 years at FBN Quest. So really, there is no standard. When it is time, it is time. When it is time, when it has come to the point of moaning and groaning. And I know that the question next is, so what do you say at interviews if you have spent a short time with your employers? Tell a positive story. That's what I'll say. Tell a positive story. It is how you tell your story. Do not say that the organization is crazy. They don't pay salaries on, they pay on the 45th of every month, or, oh, the culture is horrible, and all that. No, tell a positive story and limit that positive story up, limit it to yourself and to your career and to your growth. 10 months, 1 year, 2 years, when it is time to go and an opportunity comes knocking. For instance, if your line manager says to you and uses the foul languages on you, abuses you and all that, do you want to say 2 years because there's a limit to how you should move from one organization to another? No. When it's time, it's time. But the point is, like I said, during the interview, tell a positive story that convinces your panel about your readiness to move into that role. Do not run the organization down. Do not, if possible, do not even talk about the organization. Talk about yourself. Talk about what you want to do. Talk about the future. Talk about the skills that you have picked up, even if it's 10 months or 1 year, and then put a positive story all around it.
Thank you. The next question I would like to ask has to do with job advertisements in newspapers. On one end, are those jobs still, can you get a job applying based on the information you find in newspapers? Is it something that in this day and age, one should also keep a tab on? I understand that some jobs by regulation are required to be published.
Right.
So how much of consideration should a potential job seeker give to newspaper adverts?
I mean, honestly, organizations will take several routes to market to find talent. What works for organization A is different from what works for organization B. Some are well advanced from a tech perspective, and they have junked all hard copies, CVs, blah, 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 a long time ago. You'll be shocked. Some big organizations still believe in newspaper adverts. But if I see an advert in the newspapers and I am qualified for the role, what does it take from me to apply for that job? Nothing. Successful at the application, or you're not successful. You are successful, next process. You are not successful, let's move on. So I wouldn't concentrate too much on the medium through which my application is processed. I will concentrate on other things like, let me do some research on the culture of the organization. Let me do some research on the numbers of the organization. Let me do some research around the shareholding structure or ownership of the organization, rather than concentrating on the means of application. You understand what I mean? So other organizations might just think that is the best transparent way for us to do this. And I know one or two big organizations who still advertise on the pages of newspapers. It's fading away as practice. Technology is making it a bit like a dinosaur sort of process. But if you see it, it's a great organization you want to work in. If it's Chevron, are you going to be asking me this question? Or if it's mobile, you're not going to be asking me this question. But what I would say is that research the organization, research the culture, research the DNA of the organization, and if it's something that works for you, by all means, apply.
Thank you. The next question from popular comments and popular common experience. Most times, employers don't get back to you after you apply for a job, you submit a CV, you've done a test, you've passed all the stage, fine, oh, we're going to get back to you. 2 years later, they're still going to get back to you. Everything just goes dark. So, and I'm sure in so many ways, a lot of us on the call perhaps would have, had that kind of experience. At what point do you move on? That is one. And then secondly, how do you properly close the conversation, even from your own part as a candidate, if the employer or the HR manager, or whoever is you're dealing with on the other side, is not responding or responsive? How do you close in a very professional way and move on, in such a way that, just like you mentioned, even your closure, perhaps you can still stand out in the way you close the conversation?
Okay, I'm sure you guys think that this sort of situation happens only to maybe entry level or mid-level career. Can I shock you? This happened to me between October last year and January this year. An organization, a big bank in Nigeria, contacted me on LinkedIn. We're looking for a head of HR. And I sent Okay. I mean, you guys are looking happy. Director, MD, all happened in a space of 3-4 weeks. As in, oh, we want to fill this role, we want to fill this role, and all that. And then after seeing the MD till today, this was in November, December of last year, till today, I not received a feedback. Official that change their minds to say that, oh, let's look inward for now because of the numbers, because let's find somebody internally. But I did not get a formal feedback till today. So it happens to the best of us. What you shouldn't do, guys, is to despair, is to get emotionally involved in it. Honestly, I don't. I agree, it is painful. You spend time, you come all the way from Ibadan or Port Harcourt to Lagos for an interview, or you go to Abuja and all that, and then nobody gives you a feedback. It is absolutely unacceptable. On behalf of all HR practitioners who still do this, I apologize. I totally apologize. It is unacceptable. But at the point when you see that they are dilly-dallying on giving you a response, please move on. Just move on. No point. It also says a little about the culture of that organization, if you know what I mean. So just move on. Just move on. But it happens a lot.
Okay. The next question I want to ask, one of the participants is asking, how do you balance trying to have some visibility and at the same time grounding yourself, just like you gave an analogy of a tree that's sending its roots downwards? How do you strike a balance between both?
So at the beginning of your career, don't worry about too much. Do your job and do it well. Be the best in what you're doing. Beginning of career, again, like I said, IQ, and that means technical should has visibility. Visibility defined is other people outside of my immediate team feeling the impact of my job. Visibility is not doing word round. Visibility is not making sure that you stay at a point where MD and all the EDs will see you in the morning. You target the time they are coming in the morning and you join them in the elevator to strike a conversation. That is not visibility. They will strike that conversation with you. You will even laugh and then you'll be happy with the know me. See, this is what I say. In the animal kingdom, right? In the animal kingdom, don't be a sheep. A sheep just concentrates on what? On itself. Just be quiet. I'm not disturbing anybody. Let me move on. Job, right? That's a donkey. But the sheep will not last. long in the animal farm, the donkey will not be a fox. Ability as normal. Don't be sly. Don't know. It can find that its environment is threatened. You know what it does? It takes off. So do not be in the space of, it's a matter of time before that visibility as an attempt to cover up incompetence is seen, and therefore it loses out in the animal kingdom. But be an owl. And you can have a combination of all four. Know when to be a sheep, know when to be a donkey, know when to be a fox, and also know when to be an owl. But if you are constant, so what I'm saying is that visibility is other departments, other functions, other units in your organization feeling the impact of your job, even if it's in presentation, if it's in certain projects, if it's in committees. And when those opportunities come, take them and take them well.
Thank you. Now, just a very simple question, but I think will be useful to the listeners. What is the place of having a good impression represented on whether it's your CV or whether the way you show up at interviews, how do you make sure you're branding yourself well, even with documents like CVs, for example, that will go ahead of your physical presence? How important is that?
I mean, extremely important. Your CV is what we foresee. Now look at it. That's why the fonts were in black, and the second part, the fonts were in blue. If I was recruiting, it sends some sort of signals to my brain already about that particular individual. So please, your CV should be well scripted to the point where once it is seen, it tells some stories about you and your audience will want to see you further. However, guys, please do not package your CV. Package your experience, your skills, and your qualifications. I'll say that again. Do not package your CV to the point where you package your skills, your experience, and your qualification. Story. See a lot of individual is applying for head of HR, the same person head of digital marketing, the same person head of operations, the same person head of procurement. What's going on? And then some individuals will tell you that yes, package your CV and tailor it to the role you're applying for. No, I totally do not agree to that. Package your CV to reflect your experience for the next role. You are not going to apply for every job that you see. Every job is not for you. The job that is for you is a job that's your experience, your qualification, and your skills and ability to therefore deliver on the job.
Thank you very much. I have two more questions before we wrap up.
Okay.
One is one of the participants is asking about if you didn't make second class upper or a first class, so that is one. And then the second question would be, if you were to start all over again, what will you do differently? Thank you.
Okay, so the first person wants to know what class of degree I made, right?
No. He is asking, I think you already mentioned that you had a 2-1. Okay. So he's asking if I didn't make 2-1 or first class,
okay,
what are my chances in the employment market?
No. I mean, you can actually relax on that one. I mean, in our days, first class and 2-1 was biggie. it's lost its relevance a bit now. So I don't think it's an issue. Sincerely, if you already have your experience, then let's concentrate on you deepening your skills and your experience in your current job, rather than concentrating on the first class or a 2-1. Like I said, I don't see many job applications still emphasizing that. Some do, but not many as it was in our days. That's one. Then 2, for the second guy, if I have to live my life all over again, what would I change? What will I do differently? My political lens, losing that job was not, I promise you guys, it wasn't. Guess what? I still didn't play politics, and I still found some sort of friction in politics. So I'll say that be professional first, always, in all your dealings. Stay as a professional. Understanding politics is must speak, always be a professional. So what will I change? I'll quickly understand politics in the workplaces earlier on, but from a career trajectory, every single experience has added up to who I am today. I will still go back to Vic Lawrence. I will still go back to Arthur Anderson. I will go back to Standard Chartered. I do not have any regret so far. AB, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, good. So
Right.
no regret,
Right.
but I'll learn PQ very fast.
Excellent.
But no regrets. Absolutely none. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Before we wrap up, once again, we are honored and deeply grateful to have you here. And maybe by way of your final words, you're speaking to young people in terms of the demographics who are all in the finance industry or have enthusiasm around a finance career. And this session is being streamed live on YouTube, and it will remain on the platform for people who like to go and listen again. So what would be your final takeaway to share with everybody listening now and even in the future as regards standing out in their life and in their careers and in their places of work?
Okay. Guys, I think I've talked about a couple of things, but let me emphasize something again. And it's one of the messages I have been reiterating since the beginning of the year, and deliberately so. And that is the message of process. Process, process, process. It is good for people to tell you that if you can see it, you can get it. But I would say that if you can see it, work for it, then you can get it. Do not attempt to do copy and paste of the things that you see or know about other people. What you should do is to copy, edit, 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 and then you can paste. Because we all have, no, let me put it this way, the roads to success, they are many and varied. However, you have to define your own journey. And after defining it, then please own it. Your journey is your copy and paste sort of situation. Life will give you opportunities, always. But it doesn't happen that you get the big stages first. Anytime life gives you a stage to climb on, please, in terms of readiness, climb on that stage, own it, and then the big stages will be yours. Thank you.
On that note, thank you very much, Millennial YF, for sharing with us tonight.
Yeah.
You can see your background is the color of your place of work. Right. So, guys, all of you on the call, please appreciate YF on the chat and just say thank you. We're deeply grateful for sparing out time to be here tonight. Irrespective of all the very tight schedule you had today, you made it here to share with us from your years of experience and from your mind of wisdom, and we're very, very grateful. We believe someday soon now, when COVID-19 is over, we'll have a physical session where you'll be able to put a face to all of the people joining on this call and much more. And we'll get to see the real YF that some of us are privileged to know personally. So we are deeply grateful to you, and we thank you for the great work you are doing, especially for the next generation. And we see how much you're trying your best to duplicate all the things you've known and to help people find their direction. So thank you for being that kind of model that all of us can look up to. And thank you for sparing your time to be with us here tonight. We cannot thank you enough, YF. And we believe whenever there are opportunities to, we'll be glad to reach out to you every now and then. One great thing about this community is the best set of people you can look for within this age bracket in this industry. You will find them in the network. Okay. So whether it's MBN, whether it's Stanbic, all the firms, we have people who are doing exceptionally well who are on the platform. And this session is one of the things we do to continue to equip people to be the best at what they do. And our desire is that they will be number one everywhere they find themselves. So thank you. And I want to say thank you to all the people listening also. I'm sure you have learned one or two things tonight that will be useful to you. Just like YF mentioned, action is everything. It's not enough that you have listened to the 1 hour plus of today's session. What is important is what you're going to do after now, because we want that in the next 1 month, in the next 6 months, in the next 2 years, you have testimonies of great things that have happened to you as a result of tonight's session. So thank you all for joining. I'm going to pass the mic to Yinka if he's still online to wrap up.
Ebi, can I say something? Ebi, can I say something? Okay, so Dorothy Odu, I see that I didn't answer your question, and we might have missed a couple of questions as well. So can I say that, please, because of time, let's continue the conversation on any of my platforms, Instagram, LinkedIn, or those two, Instagram or LinkedIn. Please come back to me on those platforms with your questions, and I'll be happy to continue the conversations on those platforms. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yinka, if you're online.
Yes, I am. Thank you so much. Thank you, YF. This has been an insightful section. We really do appreciate you and for the time you've given to us, even despite the fact that it was at short notice. And thanks to everyone that also joined the call. For those on YouTube and here on Zoom, we really appreciate you for staying this long with us, and I believe we have all learned something new today. And also, this is a continuation of our prior series, and we have more and more sessions to come, the insightful sessions like this to come, and we do hope that as we reach out to you via your emails, you would engage them. And you can also engage us on Twitter, on LinkedIn. We have various social media platforms that you can engage. Then subscribe to our YouTube channel to get latest updates. This particular conversation that we just finished having, we would be having it on the YouTube channel for a playback. You can always go there and play it back. Finance Professional Network is the channel. You can always play it back. Then our previous sessions also that we've had so far, the likes of Dr. Andrew Nelvin, Wale Lucy, and the likes, you would find them there. And you can always watch and rewatch from time to time to pick out the lessons that have been dished out in those various series of sessions. So yeah, we'll be bringing the session to a close for today. We really appreciate you guys. We'll be sending an email probably with the also with a link to this session for you to further rewatch and replay personally. So do add us to your mailing list. Do add us so that emails do not go to your spam or to your junk box. It comes directly into your primary email address. So thank you so much. We'll be drawing the curtain to today's meeting. It has been an insightful approximately 2 hours of session with YF tonight. Thanks everyone, and have a lovely night rest.